Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be reacting to another League of Legends video. This is a video that dropped about 2 weeks ago, and there's also another video I was going to watch afterwards which explains a little bit more into the lore because your gal is very, very bad at assuming and understanding cinematics, especially League of Legends cinematics. You guys have been recommending a lot of channels for me to watch, and on top of that, you guys have also been recommending a lot of breakdown videos for me to watch as well. So I just thought, why not mix them both into one? So today, guys, we are going to be watching the brand new League of Legends cinematic. This is called A Dark Gambit. It's for 2025's first season. Amongst the many things that I love about Riot, I reckon their cinematics and their stories are one of the best things that you could ever ask for. They have by far one of the best productions I've ever seen for any cinematic. Like there are some good companies out there that make these cinematics that drop absolute bangers every once in a while. And then there's Riot that drop one almost every couple months. And every single one is a fucking hit. The best music, the best graphics, the best characters. And then on top of that, you have the actual game. It was enough to make me cave. So I've played a couple more games of League and yeah, it's pretty good. I spent a good couple hours trying to understand the game. I watched a few videos as well to break it down, and it sent me down this rabbit hole of like complaints about League of Legends and like random websites that you can go on, all the random stuff that comes with playing League of Legends competitively. So I don't know, I think I scared myself, but because I also play games like Rainbow Six Siege, I love the trauma. I'm so excited. And I was wrong about season 2. Sorry, not season 2. Arcane season 3. My bad.
The first glance.
Ionia is but a doorway.
Yes, come claim your prize in my world.
Listen to your puppet, LeBlanc. Besides, you have no host. And even if you did, the new Grand General would never approve another campaign in Ionia.
I have done your bidding. Release me.
My mean brain is my mean brain just went to it's free real estate, but I need to control myself. Cool.
Losing our host was an unfortunate turn. As for the might of Noxus, it won't be necessary. A single whisper can cut deeper than 1,000 blades.
To Ionia, then.
See, now this is why I need breakdowns. That wasn't enough. Oh my god, I feel more lost than the last cinematic. Yes, Necrit! Thank you, you beautiful human, I love you!
But I value your time, so I'm only gonna increase it tenfold.
Oh, does he make really long
let's
videos?
all be honest here.
Alright.
Riot cooked. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of League of Legends. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Arcane. That cinematic was great. And at this point, I'm not sure what's cooler. The fact that we are constantly getting high-quality cinematics.
Yep,
or
I
the fact
literally
that
just mentioned that earlier.
Doing this. Meaning that all of this is aligning with Arcane. And let me tell you, you really think we are not gonna connect this to Arcane? Because even though we are taking a cinematic that is a bit less than 2 minutes long, the truth is, this cinematic is just one big tease. As well as a tease for the next season. As well as possibly a tease for the next
So there is
champion.
another
And
season of
you know what?
Arcane.
Let's just get into all of that.
Oh my
The
god, I
cinematic
got
begins
roasted
at the
so hard in my
countdown
comments
on
on my
a
last video.
But you can already see that it is missing Mordekaiser's runes, which were previously present in the comics. And that is of course
I haven't
because
seen the
with
comics,
Mordekaiser
but he looks
being
familiar.
gone, or at least banished for now, LeBlanc took the item that bound this demon, that being the helmet, and she bound it to her own will. In fact, that is what all the black goop is about. Arcane is still technically bound to the helmet. It is just LeBlanc who owns it now. Now, the chances
It's like a
are
genie.
that a lot of people watching this video will not have the context of all the other lore we covered. So let me quickly bring you up to speed. You see, from the very first cinematic we got right after Arcane for the beginning of the Noxian season, there was a whole new storyline that started developing. If you go back to that first cinematic, you can see that LeBlanc is looking at something powerful on a wall. At that time, we had no idea what that was.
Looks
and
like a
to
rune
us,
or
it was
something.
just a symbol. After this, Mordekaiser's comic was released, where we learned about the lore of Atakan, a creature that was created through the fusion of Mordekaiser's best friend and a demon. But after Mordekaiser died, and then was resurrected, and then he died again, the demon fell into the hands of LeBlanc. Which is where, at the end of that comic, we learned that LeBlanc decided to unleash the demon from the helmet, so it could roam the land and sate its hunger. After which, the
And then it
Demon's
goes
Hand
back.
minigame was released in League of Legends, which really told us what happened here. You see, in reality, LeBlanc never freed the demon. The demon was always in the pale room which we've seen in the cinematic. It was all just
Yeah,
an
yeah,
illusion
it
of
was
the
okay,
demon's
yeah.
head. And LeBlanc did all of this because she wanted to evoke the demon's memories. Through these memories, she could learn more about Mordekaiser's fall, she could learn more about the dark magic Mordekaiser was studying, she could even learn about the magical process of binding people to items and demons.
Which she did.
Mainly, she wanted to evoke the demon's memories to suppress the human side. Because again, as a reminder, Atakan is the merging of Mordekaiser's general and a demon. And with only the demon
Even after he
remaining, there
died.
would be no confusion with the memories, and so LeBlanc could get the demon's knowledge. With that, she could learn where the powerful item she was after was hiding, and so after unleashing Atakan at the very end of the minigame, we learned that the powerful item was indeed a Darkin, and we learned that it was hidden in Ionia. And that is what brings us to this
Holy
cinematic.
shit. Yeah,
LeBlanc
right.
managed to
Okay.
break
Fuck,
Atakan
there's
from
a lot that
Mordekaiser's
goes into
and
this.
she bound it to the Black Rose. And
Okay.
now, the story is about to continue. It begins with the amazing reveal of Atakan being rendered by Fortiche. And oh boy, does it look great. Again, if you are wondering why Atakan has human hands, it's not because he would be trying to mimic humans like other demons who lure them. Instead, in this case, it's because those hands actually belong to Katashli, who used to be Mordekaiser's general.
What
But
the
then, when
fuck? Oh
Atakan
my
steps
god.
back from the wall, the shot reveals the Darkin. Now first, during this shot, you can see all of those pink petals flying in. Where
Yeah.
are they coming from? We don't know. We are dealing with Atakan and LeBlanc and a whole bunch of illusions, so anywhere really. But the point is, of course, pink petals
Oh, it's
are
beautiful.
related to Ionia. We can pick and choose specific scenes where they were used, including spirits and stuff. But more importantly, again, it is Fortiche, so this is full of details. So in this case, the pink petals are a massive contrast to the classic black rose petals, which LeBlanc usually has around her.
Yeah,
When it comes
yeah.
to the image on the wall,
Okay.
you can see that the Darkin already looks slightly different. Before, in the first cinematic, in order for Riot to keep it more of a mystery, it was more vague, but now the image has a proper shape. And so now we know that the Darkin, who is very likely gonna be the next champion, is a glaive. Which is something we
I don't know
mostly
what a glaive
about
is.
because Riot accidentally teased this on
I
their
don't-
social media. And so Vladimir
Oh,
then
God,
steps into
okay.
the debate. And he calls the location the First Lands. This is a really cool nod towards League's lore, because the First Lands is a very archaic word for Ionia, with the cool detail here being that Vladimir is old. It makes sense that he would be using old terms. But after this, LeBlanc, actually calling it Ionia, mentions that it was just a doorway. After which Atakan teased her to come and claim her prize in his world.
In
Now,
Ionia?
all
No,
of this
no, no,
is
no.
actually tied together, because this is all referencing what Ionia is really about. With Ionia being a continent that is heavily connected with spirits.
He looks like
This is why
Sub-Zero.
these lands are full of the Akana, who are the good
Oh, that's so
demons, or the
pretty.
Azakana, who are the lesser bad demons. And so it is likely that this is what Atakan is referencing here. Ionia is absolutely a land filled with similar beings, including something
It
like
sounds mystical
Doctor.
and cool.
And that is where the cinematic may get a bit confusing.
I hope we get-
Because apparently there
Oh,
was
mate, it got confusing near the
miscommunication
beginning.
with You see, Vladimir mentioned
But I'm-
that
I'm
LeBlanc
getting-
should be
I'm
listening to her
understanding
puppet,
it.
likely mentioning Atakan,
I'm following.
But he adds that she
Oh,
has
shit.
no host. Now, a host can have two meanings. a host,
Right.
as in a body for a Darkin. Because remember,
Or a
the Darkin
vessel.
are the twisted souls of the Ascended who were sealed inside weapons, and they can be
okay.
unleashed when someone picks up the weapon. After which the Darkin dominate their bodies. So in other words, the wielder becomes the host. So, for example, in the case of someone like
That's so
Aatrox,
cool.
we are not really looking at the Darkin, we are looking at the host, which is a twisted human being which picked up the blade. But the thing is that a host can also be a war host. Because remember, during the invasion of Ionia, LeBlanc actually had quite a few squads in Ionia. For example, let's not forget the Sisterhood of War. On top of this, during the invasion of Ionia,
Okay, they're definitely
the
losing me
Grand
now.
General of
Oh my
Noxus
god.
was Borem Darkwill, who was manipulated by LeBlanc like a puppet. So during his
She
reign,
seems to do that
LeBlanc
quite a bit, doesn't
essentially
she? She did
owned
that
the
to Mel.
entire Noxian army. The problem is then
I wanna know
that
what the story
when
is
this
behind
cinematic
that.
was translated into different languages. Some languages used host as in a body, and other languages called it a war host. So now we're not exactly sure which one of these this is. Though I'm gonna assume that it is actually talking about a body, as in a host for a Darkin.
Right.
In the entire context of this cinematic, that would make sense. Although there is another thing that could be mentioned. In the latest story which LeBlanc got, and I know, it's crazy, we actually got a new story. It was revealed that LeBlanc's clones are fully sentient. They are also spread across the entire world, with the coolest part being that they
That's so
all believe
dangerous.
that they are the real LeBlanc.
Oh
So if we
no!
really twist
So
it
maybe
enough,
she's a
Vladimir
clone.
could be talking about the fact that LeBlanc
she wouldn't
doesn't
be.
have
She
a
wouldn't allow
host,
that.
as in a clone in Ionia, but I don't think that's the case. Sure, the news story revealed that she had a clone in Ionia watching over Syndra, but after Syndra was unleashed, we can assume that clone was
It
lost.
died, yeah.
But I doubt she wouldn't have another one around. So, to tie everything back, Vladimir is reminding LeBlanc that she doesn't have a body that could become a host for the Darkin, after which he just casually drops a
Well, she
brutal
can't just
war
use one of
bomb.
her clone
Because he
bodies?
also mentions that the new Grand General would not approve another campaign in Ionia. This is big because it actually puts on some timeline for Arcane. So now we know that the Ionian invasion concluded just as Arcane finished. So I guess Singed didn't really make weapons for Noxus, which also means that the Noxian invasion of Ionia likely happened during the first act of Arcane. And so after Arcane was done, Swain came back from the invasion of Ionia, he killed Borem Darkwill, and now Swain is the new leader of Noxus. Of course, in the present days, Noxus is supposed to be led by 3 people, that being Swain, Darius, and a mysterious figure. But even within this context, Swain would still be called the Grand General. So we are not sure if the leadership of Triforix was already established. Anyway, continuing on. Atakan starts to get restless, he did all of LeBlanc's bidding, and now he wants to be unleashed. Which is where LeBlanc starts whispering something to the demon.
What does she
For
whisper?
the most part, we can just speculate what that is. Because Atakan goes frenzy, we can assume that she teased him that she might release him after the entire task is done. So after 1,000 years...
She's never going to, though. He's too dangerous to
Or maybe
release.
she just mocked him by whispering his real name. Because in the universe of League of Legends, if you know a demon's real name, you can completely dominate it with incantations. Unless she whispered that Atakan is gonna be the next host to the Darkin. That would be wild. Also, a cool detail here is that you can notice the black goop going from the helmet to Atakan. Once again referencing that he is still bound to the helmet. Also, the
It's
scene
just
with the
like a
chains
genie.
is indeed a reference to the emote you can get in the game. Now, next, LeBlanc also
He looks so
mentions that
freaking cool.
losing her host was an unfortunate turn. So LeBlanc likely had someone who was under her control who was planned to be the next host for the Darkin.
He must have
The
died.
thing is that she is talking about all of this after Vladimir talked about the Grand General. So maybe LeBlanc is talking about her losing Borem Darkwill? So it is possible she also wanted to use him for the Darkin, but then she also mentions the might of Noxus, which is Darius. And this is where things get really confusing. Because again, they are talking about all of this in the
Necrit,
context
I
of
love your
just
style
talking
so
about the
much,
Grand
dude.
General not approving another campaign in Ionia. So they are almost talking about it as if Darius was the leader of Noxus. Now, it still should be Swain. Swain has the title of the Grand General. But if the Triforix is already established, then sure, Darius is one of the 3 leaders. The confusing thing is that technically they would call Darius the Grand General, which he's not. And so if this
So
is
maybe
not
it's
what
not
they are
him
referencing,
then.
then I have no idea why they are bringing up Darius. Though they are bringing him up for one reason. The big point is that LeBlanc wants to go back into Ionia directly through Darius. She likely wants to manipulate him through whispers, as was hinted here,
Right.
to launch another
Okay.
campaign in Ionia. And we know she's capable of this because in the latest story, it was teased that during the cinematic where Darius was fighting Trundle, one of LeBlanc's clones was hiding in the Warhost. So she's already spying on Darius, and so the likelihood is she can manipulate him. Also, in this scene, I quickly want to point out, it is funny to see how Vladimir is respecting the demon, and he's constantly ready to fight it, but eventually he also agrees to Ionia then. Which pretty much confirms that indeed, the next
They're going
League
to
of Legends
Ionia.
season is gonna be in Ionia.
Wow,
And we
that's
are
gonna be cool.
going there
I'm excited to see it.
because
I've never
LeBlanc
seen
wants
Ionia
to
except for these
find
photos that he's
Darkin
mentioned.
there. And we are likely gonna go there because Darius is gonna launch another campaign into Ionia. And best of
Ooh.
all, we learned about all of this from an animation that was made by Fortiche. And there you have it, the newest League of Legends cinematic explained. I'll be honest, it is wild to see League of Legends lore being so good again. We've been waiting for this for 2 years.
What do you mean it was good the whole freaking time? I'm sorry, I'm gonna end it there with his video. I reckon that breakdown was perfect. It's exactly what I needed. The last couple cinematics, I've tried to piece things together, but I've never done it on camera for you guys right after a reaction, to the point where like I can actually understand everything. Necrit took all that information. I know most of it was just assumptions, because half the time with new cinematics, it's assumed, or you pick and choose your information from comic books or cinematics or just previous information that you have. But this man, this beautiful, beautiful man, this wonderful man in pajama pants and a nice cool hat, Necrit, he fucking nailed it. I will admit some of the information got a little bit hectic. A lot of these characters I haven't been introduced to, but I will admit some of the information was a lot, but Necrit managed to make it a lot more digestible. So we're going in the right direction. I'm starting to understand it more, and there is a teaser for season 3 of Arcane. Although you guys have said, and Riot may have potentially said, that there's no other season, I'm still gonna keep my hopes up for season 3 of Arcane. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, another amazing cinematic released by Riot. But watching this cinematic has made me so excited for the next cinematic that we're gonna watch, called Here Tomorrow. So if you want to go check that out, I will be uploading it soon in the next couple days. I hope you guys are excited. If you like this video, smash that like button and also subscribe for more videos. Turn on that notification bell. If you have recommendations, please drop them in the comments down below. I read all of your comments, so if your video does get picked, you will get a shout out in the next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.